Good morning, I'm Denise Heberlein, and I live in Quincy, Illinois, and I wanted to start off with asking my questions. Was one place that I looked at their consent forms, and they had several different consent forms. They had one for the adult, they had one for a child, they had one for the parent of a child from divorce, and I guess I was kind of concerned about whether or not those were ethically, and morally correct. Were they too specific? Should we make a difference between the ages or who is coming in? I understand what they were trying to do, and they were trying to know their client better. But I guess for me, coming from a viewpoint of being ethical, is that necessary for them to be able to separate that all out? The other question, I'm sorry, I had several questions. Is that really confidential when you have the different consent forms for them to sign? So I guess that was just a question that I had as far as one consent form that I did find. The one consent form that I really liked has come from the West Texas Counseling and Guidance Center in San Angelo, Texas. And I compared it to the ACA Code of Ethics, and there were several areas that they aligned with. The Code of Ethics talks about counselors working collaboratively with their clients to make better decisions to promote the client's health and wellness, their growth and development. And in the Code of Ethics, in the consent form, they talked about their therapists working with the clients to make sure that the client keeps their own individual beliefs as far as religion goes, and that the therapist would not impose any different kind of religious beliefs. So I believe that works hand in hand with promoting the client's growth and development. And another one that the consent form talked about was the therapist is going to strive to help the client grow toward better health and wellness, and that goes hand in hand with the Code of Ethics. The relationship, they definitely talked about keeping the relationship client and therapist based, and that they would not cross a line as far as becoming friends. This is basically almost like a business, even though they were talking about keeping the relationship just therapeutic. And I know that you have to show kindness and caring and respect, and I believe that matched very well with the ACA Code of Ethics. In contrast, they did not find any wording in their consent form about multiculturalism, and it, honoring diversity and embracing a multicultural approach in support of the worth, dignity, potential, and uniqueness of people within their social and cultural context is what the ACA Code of Ethics has stated. I did not see anything like that in their consent form. Maybe in their counseling sessions this would be covered. I am not for sure, but that did bother me. We live in a world of diversity. Another thing that I noticed was that they didn't talk about gender in their consent form, and what gender do their clients identify with. So those came from the ACA Code of Ethics. And then the Illinois State Board and Regulations, I saw that several things. You had to pursue a career in counseling, and you need to visit the website to make sure that you're keeping up on all the laws and the regulations that are coming about, because as we all know, counseling is always evolving, or the counseling profession is always evolving and always changing and always trying to make itself better fit our clients. And so we need to stay up to date on the new knowledge and new education that's coming out. Also, the making sure that you're following the state's regulatory standards and their laws and their regulations, and making sure to practice morally and ethically within the standards. Being ethically knowledgeable will help me to be a better therapist and a counselor for my clients, and making sure that therapeutic and professional relationship is maintained. Another area that's going to enhance my client's experience is to make sure I'm continuing my education to make sure that I can help my clients to the best of my ability with the background and education that I have gained, and to stay current with education. Taking classes or being involved in conferences, and those could just, touch on several different kinds of issues that are relating to our clients that we deal with. And that came from counselorlicense.com. And then again, my reaction to the consent form. And then again, this is the West Texas Counseling and Guidance in San Angelo, Texas. I really did like the consent form. It was quite thorough. It was quite lengthy. It was 15 pages in length, and the several first pages dealt a lot with just the different kinds of like the therapy and what was expected and what was expected from the therapist and the client. And it was just more than a consent form, because after you got past those first few pages, there was an intake form at the very bottom. It was separated by an adult and by minor, which I kind of liked, and it wasn't like too specific, but you knew that one was an adult, one was a minor. And then within each of those areas, there were forms that they had to fill out that, like, regarding their physical, their emotional, their mental health. That covered religion, ethnicity, employment, military, their background, education, family information, and then also what the client hoped to gain from counseling and why they were seeking help, but also asked for a medical history. It appeared to be very thorough. And again, I would say that I was kind of bothered by that it did not talk about what gender the person associated with, and how the client viewed themselves as far as gender was concerned. But I felt like it was a good template, and when I start to practice, it might be something that I would be willing to look at and maybe revamp and add to or take away as fits what I am doing in the time when it comes to counseling. So I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to hearing from you and hearing from all the other students in this class. Thank you. Have a great day.